Bryan Houston with Coach Marcus Gold of the Whitehouse Wildcats. Whitehouse coming off their first loss of the season, 27-14 at Pine Tree. Coach, first of all, just thanks for doing this as always, and give me your thoughts on the game and what you think happened.
Well, I think in a game like that and what we've seen in the last couple weeks is we have made a lot of highlight type plays, on the defensive side of the ball, scooping scores on special teams and on the offensive side of the ball. And in that game, we didn't really make any explosive plays against a really good Pine Tree team. And then when that doesn't happen, that doesn't mean that's the cause of losing the game. But when you don't create that, when you don't have that, you have to minimize mistakes. And I don't think we minimized mistakes. I thought we had possibly too many mental errors at times and too many penalties. And when you don't have explosive plays, when you have too many mental errors in a game like that against Pine Tree, against a very good football team who's lost in one game this year, it's going to make it tough to win. The word of the week was finished, and I thought the kids came out and played hard. But they made more plays than we did in the second half. Those two big passes that went for 70 yards. And, one thing you've noticed about our defense, not a lot of teams are able to grind it out and move the ball consistently down the field. They've usually had to make big plays against us, and we've tried to harp, don't give up those big plays. When some of our athletes can get in the open field, it makes it dangerous against us. So they were able to do that, and they did it successful. And I thought that there's some more things that we could have done to try to help win a football game.
So this being the first loss, and you've got some young kids on your team, and so how do you handle trying to make sure that this doesn't have a big hangover effect?
That's the whole idea and the whole movement of keep climbing. And the idea of climbing up that mountain is that there's going to be some adversity. So there's going to be some slip up along the way. And what I told them is as you're moving up that mountain, the top becomes a little bit more clear to see. Those goals become closer and closer to you. But if you start staring at the top of that mountain, that's when you're not looking down and taking that next step. And the next step right now and the next focus for them is a Jacksonville Indian team who hasn't won a lot of games this year. But at the 5A football level, anybody can beat you. Anybody has enough talent, and they have that talent. It's a rivalry football game. They're going to come ready to play. And I told them that it's going to be challenging. And what I did was I told them I was going to sit back and I wanted to watch what this team does. And the first biggest adverse situation of a loss of the season and see what you guys can do. I challenged our seniors. Our senior class has been a class that hasn't historically won a lot of football games. They were 5-5 probably as JV team. When they were eighth graders and freshmen, they had 1 and 2 win seasons. The senior class has kind of dwindled down. It's a lot smaller than our junior and sophomore class. So I was like, I want to see what you guys are made of and what mentality and what winning mentality has taken over you these last few games, and see how you lead by example and see how you pull these juniors and sophomores along. And the sophomores aren't looking forward to, next season or thinking. And in the time we're living in, the next week is not guaranteed. The next season is not always guaranteed. You have to take advantage and the opportunity that you have for that next week. So what was great to see is that every single body that we have on our varsity team showed up ready to go on Monday morning at 8:15. We had 100% attendance. That's the first step, and both practices have been good this week so far.
It's a holiday week. You have to alter your schedules and things like that. Does that give you extra challenges, or is it better that they're not having to deal with classes and things like that this week?
That's why I'm coaching here at Whitehouse, is because we have great kids and they're all here. They're all ready to go. The mental thing for me is, okay, when y'all leave here, don't be, going to the pool all day long. Enjoy yourself, but be mentally focused and mentally prepared that, we still have a game this week. obviously it's good for them to have that time off, and it's been a long, drawn-out season. And me and you talked before about these kids, they need somewhat of a break, and I think this is a great opportunity to kind of give them some mental rest throughout the day and give them that break. We go from 8 till 11 o'clock in the morning with meetings, weights, and special teams and practice. Get them in, get them out. We're not going to keep them here all day. We're giving them Thursday off for Thanksgiving, and what's crazy is I got to tell them as well. One, there's two things about Thanksgiving this year, and one is consistent is don't overload yourself with so much food. I get it, go in there and get 2 plates and have them, but don't just gorge yourself, because you have to play on Friday at 2 o'clock, and that could affect you, and that's something that you tell kids about every year if in your third round of the playoffs. Now it's every team across the state of Texas that has to deal with that same thing. And the second thing is there's going to be a lot of family gatherings. There's a lot of people. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying that at all. I think you should be with your families and people coming in, but don't be around people that are not feeling well. Don't cause yourself to come back over here to the team and you're not feeling well. And one thing we got to tell our kids, because they're tough and they're mentally tough kids, is that don't push yourself. If you come back and you're not feeling a certain way, you're not feeling good, and it's better for you to sit this one out and sit a practice out or two than to try to push yourself through it. So those are just a couple of things that we have to remind the kids throughout the week.
From a coaching standpoint, when you go back and you look at that film, and when I go back and I review the game, and you look at it, there's 3 plays in the ball game, and it's a dead even game otherwise. How do you view a game like that when it's all said and done? Because it seemed – I know it was a 2-score game, but you guys had climbed back in. You'd scored the touchdown in the 4th quarter on a long, long drive, and then boom, they hit that big play, and they're right back up 2 scores like that right there at the end of the game. How do you view that game, and what do you take away from it?
I told the kids, and I think I watched the game 2 or 3 times. I think that in any game that where you're making mistakes and are not doing well, you don't want to I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Just highlight, hey, this isn't working or this isn't working. What you do want to do is, okay, what mistakes are being made? What are we doing? And then go look back to those past games. All right, what happened the week before that? Were we still doing those things? And were they being hidden by other things going on or other great things going on? Or what happened personnel-wise 2 games ago? Are those things that have been continuing to go on and now they were really seen on that Friday night? Or are those just things that just happened that Friday night? One thing I took from the game is that at all positions across the team, from running back to linebacker, D-line, to quarterback to secondary, none of our positions really dominated the football game. No, none of them would I sit down and say we graded out above a 90 plus in any of our positions. And if any of those positions would have graded out, would have just dominated the game. If you said, hey, D tackles absolutely dominated the game on Friday night, I think that would have made a huge difference in the football game. If you said this position dominated, nobody else did, or this position really dominated, but it never happened across the board. And when that happens like that over for the whole team, to me, it becomes the idea that we weren't playing to win the game. We were playing not to lose the game. And that's the way you can't do it. That's never been our mentality. And of all the fake punts that we do and the aggressiveness that we have on 3rd and 4th down, we play to win the football game. We don't sit back and try to not lose a football game. I think we were doing that too much. And I feel that we were somewhat waiting for them to make a mistake, and try to capitalize off of their mistakes. And they made 1 interception, I think, down there, and that was kind of a throw up ball on a 3rd and long, which they were okay to do that with the clock ticking down. But they didn't have a lot of turnovers. They didn't have a lot of mistakes. So that's kudos to Pine Tree in doing that. And so you can't wait for that to happen. You got to go try to take it from them.
Well, learning experience, obviously, and you still got everything. You still control your destiny. You could still win the district. with 2 wins. And I know it's not easy with looking at what you've got ahead, but it certainly is within your grasp right now. So tell me what you know about Jacksonville.
Well, they're always going to be a tough game. It's always going to be a fun game. Our kids have known them since they've been in Little League football. I was over there with the Little League the last Saturday, and they were talking about the Jaguars. We're getting ready for Pine Tree and what could be a huge game for us, and they're talking about the Jacksonville game. So that tells you how big of a game it is for our kids, and probably for those kids that are over there. They're very good in the skill positions. I think Coach Coleman does a very good job of kind of seeing what you're in on defense and kind of picking you up. They dink and dunk with the quarterback. He is extremely accurate. He throws the ball a ton, and I think they do a good job just getting the ball to their skilled players. And on the flip side of that, they have some pretty good skilled players in the secondary, a linebacker that plays both running back and fullback. And one thing that I've really noticed from them and the fact that they are a 1-7 football team is they play extremely hard. They're not out there in the fourth quarter where they're down by 10 or 20 points and just walking around. They play hard. They give great effort. You can tell they play with some pride, and it's going to be a good challenge for us. I believe it's going to be raining on Friday and storming, and so hopefully we get through some of those delays. But it's always a fun game, and just to play the Indians on Thanksgiving Day, that's gonna be a good time to do that. It's gonna be fun for our younger kids to see, hey, this is what Thanksgiving feels like, and hopefully when we start on time next year, that's what their goal is, to play on Thanksgiving week during the playoffs.
Absolutely. And one other question I'll just ask you, this is kind of non-football related, but for you, it's been a really weird year. It's been a great year for you from a football standpoint, considering where you are right now and your record and all, but it's just been a really bizarre year. When you look at that and you think about the holiday and Thanksgiving, what are you thankful for right now?
Well, if I didn't say I'm not thankful for my fiance who's in my life right now, she'd be upset because she watches this every single week, and she was like, "When are you going to mention me?" So thank you for the opportunity to mention her and be able to spend the holidays with her here is going to be great. Most everybody's usually going home for Thanksgiving and being with family for Thanksgiving, but fortunately that we get a game on Friday night, so we won't be going back to Dallas and hanging out with family. We'll wait till the weekend before we do that. I'm thankful for the city of Whitehouse, and I say the city of Whitehouse, and because the way our program is built, it's not just the kids, it's not just the staff, it's not just our principal, our superintendent, our AD. It's all of us collectively together, creating such a good atmosphere and culture and positive environment to be a part of every day. After a win, after a loss, it doesn't matter, and you feel that on Friday nights when you're at the stadium. I'm thankful for the opportunity to play the game and coach the game of football, and in a year that was so questionable if we were going to be able to do it or not. We're here going into week 9, uninterrupted weeks of football, and that's just incredible. And I'm just the list could go on of my family and friends and everybody that I'm thankful for. And it's been a crazy year, but there's always great things that you can take out of every experience that you have in life. And fortunately, it's been a great experience during this football season for me.
Fantastic. Well, Coach, best of luck against the Indians, and we look forward to talking to you afterwards about a Whitehouse win and getting back on getting another streak going here.
Yes, sir. It'd be great to start another one up.
That'd be awesome. Marcus Gold from Whitehouse High School as we get ready for the kickoff between Whitehouse and Jacksonville coming up. Thanks, Coach. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Take care.